Chapter 2. My Possessive Rich Man. Finally, this big suitcase fits in, Jessica said, clapping her hands after managing to stow Emily's huge suitcase into the trunk of the pink car. Wearing worn-out sneakers, a gray school uniform skirt, and a loose white t-shirt, Jessica carried her pink backpack. Her long hair was tied up high with two cute bangs framing her face. Sweat trickled down her face, flushed from the effort of lifting the heavy suitcase. "Hey, Jess," the poor girl. A voice called out from behind her as she relaxed. Turning around, Jessica saw Cherry, Cindy, and Hannah standing there, all neighbors from the same apartment complex. "Hi," Jessica greeted them with a smile, already used to their unfriendly behavior. "Are you planning to steal something here?" accused Cindy, pointing at her. No way did they believe Jessica owned the luxury car. "I work here," Jessica replied calmly. "Oh, so you're the help, huh?" Cherry sneered. "As long as it's honest work, I'm good with it," Jessica shot back. Hannah smirked. "Need some extra cash?" she asked, and the three of them closed in on her as if to intimidate her. But Jessica stayed calm. She knew karate. She could defend herself if it came down to it. Jessica nodded. "If the job's decent, why not? Depends on what you want me to do." Cindy stretched out her foot. "Lick this shoe first, then I'll give you 50,000. Jessica clenched her fists, holding back her anger. If it weren't for her position, she might have reacted differently. "Sorry, can't do that. Now, if you'll excuse me," Jessica replied, choosing to walk away. Cindy grabbed her backpack, trying to stop her. "So full of yourself for someone who's broke." Jessica turned to face her. "True, I'm not rich, but I still have my dignity. Even a dog wouldn't stoop to licking that shoe of yours filled with arrogance." "You little," Cindy shouted, furious. "You're the real dog here." Jessica shook off Cindy's hand and made her way past them. She was used to their bullying by now, and so far, she'd managed to hold back without retaliating. Entering the apartment building, Jessica took the elevator up to the top floor where Emily's penthouse was located. As Emily's new assistant, she had been running up and down all day for her. Her first task was to load the suitcase into Emily's car. When she finally reached the top floor, the elevator door dinged loudly, and Jessica hurried out before it even fully opened. Thud. Jessica stumbled back and fell against the elevator wall, landing with a bump and rubbing her sore side. "Ouch, just my luck," she muttered, annoyed. A tall man with a stern expression entered, and before she could step out, the doors closed, and the elevator started moving down again. "Mister, can't you see? I fell. Now I can't get out," Jessica grumbled, standing up and brushing off her hip. The man was none other than Michael James, a figure well known around here. "You're the one who walked into me, yet you're blaming me," he replied sharply. "But I'm the one who fell, so it's clearly your fault, right?" Jessica shot back, as stubborn as ever. She was known to be a bit feistier than her family. Michael just shook his head. "Typical kid, you're the one who bumped into me. If you fell, maybe it's just because you're too small." "Excuse me, small?" Jessica stood up straighter, looking up at Michael, who towered over her. "Yes, small, like a dwarf," Michael taunted with a faint smirk. "Hey, don't insult someone's looks." You know there's a rule against that. Oh really? Michael replied, a skeptical smile on his face. Do you actually know the law on that? Without missing a beat, Jessica began listing key points about defamation law, leaving Michael momentarily stunned. See. By law, the fine for insults can go up to $4.5 million. Now pay up, she said, holding out her hand like she was expecting payment. Michael could only stare in disbelief. What is this? Some kind of shakedown? Jessica smirked mockingly. What's wrong, mister? Can't afford it. Michael chuckled. Do you have any idea who I am? He thought surely she'd recognize his face from business magazines. Who are you then? Some high-ranking official. Jessica scoffed, eyeing him from head to toe. To me, $4.5 million is pocket change, and you're just a speck of dust needing to be swept away, Michael replied coolly. Jessica snorted. Want to add to it? Heard of defamation laws? Michael sighed deeply. Fine, whatever. With little interest, he pulled out his wallet, showing a few bills of foreign currency. Jessica gaped, wide-eyed at the stack of cash. That's real money. Yes, obviously, Michael replied with a huff. So, he handed her $5 bills. Convert these into rupiah, and maybe buy some tape to close that chatty mouth of yours. Hey, Jessica protested, but her eyes couldn't help darting to the bills. Michael raised an eyebrow. What? Don't want the money? Jessica grinned sheepishly. I mean, I'll take it, sure. She practically bounced like a child given a gift. Michael shrugged. Such a kid, he muttered quietly. This elevator ride was turning out to be an amusing little break for Michael. He didn't mind giving her a few bucks. To him, it was just cheap entertainment with this kid. So, mister, you really gave this to me? Jessica asked, confirming one last time. Michael tugged her shirt collar and slipped the bills into her pocket. Don't waste it, okay? Spend it wisely. Hey! Jessica shouted as Michael stepped out of the elevator without a backward glance. Leaning against the elevator wall, she looked down at the cash in her hand. What a weird guy, she muttered, feeling both annoyed and thrilled at the unexpected cash. Maybe this could go towards Ashley's college fund, Jessica whispered to herself. As the elevator reached the top floor, Jessica stepped out and walked into her employer Emily's penthouse. She found Emily relaxing on the sofa, sipping a glass of water, a habit when she was alone. Just got here? Emily asked. Yes, miss, Jessica nodded. My fiancé's back in town. You'll need to stay close by my side, Emily instructed. Understood, miss. Emily's gaze shifted to Jessica's hand. What's that you're holding? Some cash from someone, Jessica replied, showing it. From who? Jessica shook her head. Some guy handed it to me in the elevator, but I have no idea who he was. Emily chuckled. Maybe he's into you. Jessica shivered in mock horror. No thanks. I'm not interested in older men. Emily laughed. Good. You're still young. Focus on your dreams before anything else. Of course, miss. Now, get ready. The makeup artist will do your look, Emily instructed. Yes, miss. Jessica nodded, preparing herself for her next task. Jessica felt lucky to have such a kind employer in Emily. If everything went as planned, Emily had promised to help Jessica get her family home back once the staged marriage plot went off smoothly. It seemed Emily was curious to test Michael's loyalty, perhaps with a bit of temptation from another woman. So far, Michael had shown no interest in anyone else, but Emily wondered if a different approach could shake him up. To Emily, this was an exciting game to liven up their rather mundane relationship. Michael had never shown her more affection than a peck on the cheek, yet he continued pressuring her about marriage. To Emily, though, marriage seemed like a binding contract, something she wasn't keen on. Though they lived in a modern age, Emily felt marriage wasn't the only step needed before moving forward. Raised in an aristocratic Javanese family, Michael's adherence to traditional values sometimes felt stifling to her free-spirited ways. This little scheme, at least, could break up Emily's boredom. Her personality was shaped by various psychological factors, including her fractured family background. Despite all the uncertainties, Emily was confident that Michael wouldn't fall for Jessica. In her eyes, Jessica was too innocent and not Michael's type at all. "Help me!" A high-pitched voice rang out from the doorway. Emily and Jessica looked over to see a few people entering, lugging suitcases. "Come on in," Emily greeted. "Let's go, darling, time to get ready," said a flamboyant man with a luxurious fur scarf wrapped around his neck, giving him an eccentric flair. Emily turned to Jessica. "Jessica, hurry up and shower, then let Olivia get you ready. I have to leave soon." "Olivia, darling, call me Olivia," the man corrected with a grin. "All right, Olivia," Emily replied, chuckling. Jessica grinned, amused by his lively style. "Okay," she replied, nodding. With a smile, Emily headed out, leaving them to it. After Jessica finished her shower, Olivia began styling her, even adding a white bridal veil. Jessica looked stunning, though Emily had already left before she could see the final result. Before departing, Emily had instructed Olivia to bring Jessica to Michael's main house and to ensure she got home after the ceremony. "Oh dear," Jessica sighed, her heart pounding as if the wedding were real. "What's up, Jess?" Olivia asked. "I don't know, I feel nervous, even though it's just pretend," Jessica admitted. "Don't overthink it. Once the ceremony's done, I'll take you home," as Miss Emily requested, Olivia reassured her. "It's not that, Olivia. I'm just worried, what if Mr. Michael gets upset and feels tricked? That's not our concern. Besides, this isn't the first time Miss Emily's avoided the wedding. Mr. Michael always forgives her because he loves her deeply," Olivia replied. "But what if, this time, he's genuinely angry, and it ruins their relationship?" Jessica asked, a bit panicked. "Trust me, Mr. Michael knows how he feels. Now let's head to his main residence. The groom is waiting." Olivia chuckled. "All right," Jessica agreed with a steady nod. Arriving at Michael James's grand estate, the supposed devoted love interest of Emily, Jessica felt her nerves intensify. Her heart raced as her small steps crossed the vast, impressive courtyard. Noticing Jessica's anxiety, Olivia lifted the veil slightly from her face. "You look pale, Jess. I told you, I'm genuinely nervous. Relax, sweetheart. Remember, you're not the one getting married. The vows will be said with Emily's name, not yours." "Yeah, you're right." Jessica nodded, following the guards leading her inside. At the door, a man in his early 30s with a sharp, attractive face stood in their way. This was Andrew, Michael James's right-hand man. "Hold up." Jessica paused. "Why, yes," she replied instinctively, forgetting Emily's advice to keep quiet while in disguise. "Miss, follow me. The boss is waiting," Andrew instructed. This time, Jessica just nodded silently. Andrew let her walk ahead, accompanied by Olivia, who now looked a bit uneasy. Someone seemed suspicious, though she hoped it was just Olivia's worry. They climbed the stairs, while downstairs, the crowd filled the event space. With her heart pounding, Jessica glanced below, her eyes widening as she spotted Michael James seated handsomely in the chair where the vows would soon be exchanged. The snail guy. So he's Miss Emily's boyfriend. Oh no, this is really bad, she thought, stunned. Andrew pressed his earpiece, stepping a bit away from Jessica. "Boss, you might want to check out who's actually wearing the bridal gown," he murmured. Jessica's jaw dropped as she noticed Michael's piercing gaze aimed right at her, suspicious and intense. "Why is he looking at me like that? Is he about to devour me or something? Oh, please protect me from this intimidatingly handsome guy," she thought, feeling uneasy. "Miss, please step inside," Andrew's firm voice brought her back. Jessica nodded and followed him. She couldn't help but marvel at the house's grandeur as she walked. The classic design with modern touches made it breathtaking. The bridal room, adorned with red rose petals, was gorgeous. She couldn't help but imagine how happy she'd be if this were really her room. In the quiet, a fleeting thought crossed her mind. Who was she, really? Just an orphan, considered plain-looking. Why did Jessica think this? Because no one had ever called her beautiful. She once liked William, a kind senior, but he'd never complimented her looks. Instead, he often praised other girls right in front of her, a clear sign she wasn't attractive in anyone's eyes. With her simple looks and worn-out clothes, it made sense she went unnoticed. Jessica always prioritized other things over her appearance. Slam. The door suddenly closed. Jessica turned, realizing she was now alone in the bridal suite. Olivia, who'd promised to stay with her, was nowhere in sight. Something felt off. Why am I locked in here? She hiked up her wedding gown and rushed to the door, pounding on it. "Princess Olivia, are you out there?" she shouted. "Princess, don't leave me alone here," she called out again. To be continued.